The thing that is oftentimes intriguing about conspiracy theories to people is this notion that, like, bro, I have the truth and nobody else does. Like, I figured it out completely. So, like, whatever, I'm kind of special, but no big deal or anything, bro. Like, that's the sense I get when it comes to a lot of people who are knee deep in conspiracy theories. It's like, I figured out the truth that other people don't really know. And I know how the world really works, and you're just a naive lemming who's going along with the mainstream narrative. So that's the appeal of conspiracies to a lot. It makes you edgy, makes you an outsider. This is, I think, the subconscious psychological rationalization. These are the things that are going on, inside the mind of the deep conspiracy theorists. Now, by the way, let me just say, it's not like all quote-unquote conspiracy theories are wrong. Many of them are dead wrong, but there are plenty that aren't, right? I mean, I think some of them are actually kind of mainstream now. Like the majority of Americans think JFK wasn't killed by a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald. They think there was something else going on there, right? I mean, I think that's perfectly fair. I think that's reasonable. I think that's probably accurate. We all know the Bay of Pigs, Tuskegee experiments. The list goes on. Like, there are plenty of conspiracies that are real, but there are some people who are prone to believing like every conspiracy. And I think the thing that makes it appealing is this notion of, like, I know the real truth and nobody else really does, but I figured it out because I'm special, but no big deal, bro. Like, that's what's going on. So here, this is such a great example of this kind of thinking. You have Jesse Waters, the right-wing Fox News host, honestly, total goofball. He is going to lay out for you his grand theory when it comes to climate change. And this is just, chef's kiss perfect with what I just described. He's going to give you the conspiracy. But as I'll explain after, he completely inverts the conspiracy. Watch this.
So it is a pyramid scheme, climate change. If you think about it, you have the media, the politicians, and the academics at the top, and then at the bottom you have all of us, the taxpayers. So academics realized early on that the more papers that they put out saying that climate change was caused by humans and the world was going to blow up in 2 years if we don't do something about it, they were going to get more grant money from the politicians.
So first of all, he called climate change, it's a pyramid scheme to make money. Okay. And then he goes on to point out, bro, it's, big science is shaking us down for grant money, bro. That grant money is absolutely positively meager. It is next to nothing. If you want to get rich in this country, the way to do it is not to become a climate scientist. How naive do you have to be to believe that? Everybody knows where the real money is. Everybody knows, it's on Wall Street. Everybody knows it's in, military-industrial complex, the defense contractors. There's a lot of big money being thrown around in a lot of places, big banks, insurance companies. It is not being a climate scientist working for some university begging for grant money every other year.
So it is a pyramid scheme, climate change. If you think about it, you have the media, the politicians, and the academics at the top, and then at the bottom you have all of us, the taxpayers. So academics realized early on that the more papers that they put out saying that climate change was caused by humans and the world was going to blow up in 2 years if we don't do something about it, they were going to get more grant money from the politicians. And so the media takes these research papers and then they report them and then they get big ratings because everybody gets scared and everybody gets nervous. And then the politicians scare the heck out of you and said, get rid of big oil. We need to go green. And then they throw all of our money around at all of their donors and all their investors. So they're all making all this money by telling us something that's not happening. We had this big climate change whistleblower on last night who said she's been ostracized because she reported that maybe the earth is warming a little bit, but the human impact is really not much. And the fact that it's warming, we got this. It's not Armageddon. And she has been smeared as a denier, and all of her grants dried up. And no one wants to talk to her in the scientific community anymore because that's when the money stops if you start telling the truth.
The reason why nobody wants to talk to her in the scientific community anymore is because she's hilariously wrong and stupid. It's like if somebody is a scientist who studies evolution, and then they come out and say, actually, I think Jesus created us 6,000 years ago. Yeah, they'd be ostracized because they just dropped a nuclear bomb of misinformation and idiocy on people who have made it their whole life to study the truth. And this is a total denial of the truth. Okay, so here's what I love about this, man. He creates this whole conspiracy around grant money, which is absolutely meager, When the real conspiracy, he's partaking in the real conspiracy right now. The real conspiracy is ExxonMobil and Chevron and BP and all of the big oil companies making insane amounts of profit, knowing about the effect of their product on the atmosphere and the environment going back decades, burying the fact that they know they're causing climate change, leading to all these horrendous issues, and then buying fake scientists, junk scientists, mercenary scientists for hire to come out there and just keep debating it and say, actually, I don't think climate change is real. Oh, maybe it's real, but it's not caused by people. Oh, maybe it's a good thing. So they astroturf, they fund this fake debate. 98% of the scientists, because they're not corrupt, they come out and say, that's actually, none of this is, they're not right. But all you have to do is insist on continuing to debate in order to make the government drag its feet, right? And that's what happens. So the junk scientists, some of the same scientists that said cigarettes don't cause cancer back in the 80s, from the Heartland Institute is one of the institutes they come from. Junk scientists, mercenary scientists for hire, paid by big oil. They lie, saying climate change is not happening or it's not a big deal. They insist on a debate. And then the government drags its feet and big oil continues to make insane amounts of profit. And putting us all at colossal risk as a result of it. Because it's leading to climate change, because our reliance on fossil fuels has now led to more extreme weather events all over the map. It's led to stronger, worse hurricane seasons, wildfires that are stronger and more powerful, take up more land. It's led to drought. It's led to potential wars over water. It's led to some places which are going to be uninhabitable by the year 2100 because it's just going to be too goddamn hot. And so at a time when it's September and it's 97 degrees outside, now everybody's anecdotal experience is matching up with the data. He's still going out there and he's inverted the conspiracy and pretended like, I'm calling out the conspiracy. No, you're part of the conspiracy. You are one of the media goons in this conspiracy who goes out there and denies the science and denies reality and does it. I think it's because he's an idiot. That's why he's doing it. But what's the end result? The end result is let's continue to push denialism, thereby blocking progress, thereby leading to more endless profits for the elites in big oil. I have no doubt that Jesse Waters thinks he's telling the truth here. That he thinks climate change really is bogus. He thinks it is nonsense. He thinks it's a conspiracy by big science to get $50,000 grants at universities, as opposed to the billions and billions and billions of dollars that big oil is making and wants to continue to make, regardless of the consequences. Their internal memos, they knew what was going on, and they decided to hide the truth. So really, it's a perfect story of corruption, of corporatism, of capitalism, of profiteering, despite the externalities and negative consequences associated with it. That's the real story. So there is a conspiracy, but he inverts the conspiracy. The real conspiracy is out in the open. It's big oil. He inverts it, makes it about big science, greedy scientists shaking down the taxpayer. Absurd on its face. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.